Okay, some basic assembly hints and tips for Space Hulk 3rd edition. If you're an experienced modeler or miniature put-togethering person, builder, you're not going to find much in this. I just wanted to go over some of the oddities that I've come across with this set. First off, just some tools. We'll start with flush cutters. Excuse me. I picked these up at a local hobby shop. They are like normal cutters or dikes, except they are flat on one side. And the purpose of these are exactly as it sounds. They are designed to lay flush against one side, allowing you to very easily clip as much of the plastic away as get as close to the model as possible. Very simple. One little tip that I've come across, as you can see with this guy here, this is a head, very ornate, very small, thin pieces of plastic. You see, I can left some of the sprue attached to this. The point for doing that is by snipping away the sprue, I can remove the tension that's applied at the locations where I'm cutting, or even more importantly where I'm not cutting, for these very small thin sections, so that as I cut this, all the tension, all the pressure goes away from the thin plastic bits. I had a couple before I realized that, because there are some very thin pieces on this that it did bend. There you go. Simple as that. The other thing I use is I picked this up at a local hobby stop for like $1. It's a metal file, flat on one side, kind of half round on the other. This is just to go through and find the mold lines. In this model, the mold lines are running right along here, up the leg, up the side, across the top, down this side. And very simply, you just want to do a light, I'm using the flat right now, a light rubbing on those. You're not going to get the mold lines to visibly go away. All you're trying to do is make them smooth. Again, visibly they won't go away, they will be there. But you're making them smooth, so once primer is applied, it does that. I use the flat on the round areas and just kind of roll the model a little bit. It doesn't take much, it's very, very light, it's a very soft plastic. In some places where you've cut the actual sprue, you want to take an X-Acto knife. So here we have an X-Acto knife, and just very carefully take off any excess that might be there. If it's raised enough, you can take the knife, put it where you want it, and slide so it kind of travels along the blade. It gives you a little bit more control. Or putting against, and when you're in tight spaces, you kind of roll the knife up, so almost like you're picking at it. And then once you get it down to where there's not a whole lot, again, just use the file to get it smooth for priming. Now, the big issue that I've come across with these, and I didn't have this problem with the Gene Stealers, the few that went together. Most of the Gene Stealers are one piece, but for the ones that went together, I didn't have this problem. I don't know if the blue plastic is a harder plastic, but what I came across is I'm using a 5/64 drill bit, and for things, the holes in, say, the arms, I am actually drilling those out a little bit bigger. I've had a couple instances where the pegs to go in the holes seem to be longer or too tight, and once you've stuck it in those holes, no glue even, they fit so tight they create a vacuum seal, and then when the arm doesn't go on all the way and you try and take it off so that you can make any adjustments, it creates a vacuum seal, and this plastic is so soft that you really can't get it off without breaking it, and then having to drill that portion out. Hasn't been that big of a deal on the few that I've lost the pegs completely, because of course I'm just gluing them anyway. Now also, if you're not in a big rush to play, I am assembling mine all together. I'm getting them assembled completely, and then I will prime them, and then I'll work on painting them. I'm not a real fast painter, so I'm really doing it so I can get a chance to actually play. that's pretty much it. I am using a smaller bit as well to get out of the holes that I have done the drilling with, but that's become important now, and that's kind of one of the big ones I wanted to get across is they're not fitting together perfectly well, and that little bit of drilling it out has helped, because then I still have. Also, yes, when using your glue, and I'm using a super glue, it's ultra gel, it has a rubber additive to it, so it's a little bit shock absorbent. Do not put the glue directly in the hole. You have the same effect, because then when you put the pegs in, there's less room. There's also a vacuum seal that's created even more, and then your glue is bonding, so if you need to get it off. Place your glue around the outer side of the pegs, so when it goes in the hole, it goes to where it needs to and grabs on. Or of course, of any places where it will be touching, making a firm seal. There are a lot of those on these, even though they have the pegs, which is why if you do lose the pegs, it's really not that big of a deal. If you're not in a big rush to paint, clip these pieces off and leave a piece of them, leave them on the sprue, and paint each piece individually. You'll see a lot of things that suggest doing that. So that's just kind of what I've come across and some of the stuff I've been working on. So hopefully I have some painting to do to show you later. Thanks.